In Test cricket, history's best consistently struggle to push their batting average towards 60. Standing 2 standard deviations away is the number 99.94. This gap transformed him into a protected national asset. Worshipped, knighted, his name was eventually enshrined in Australian corporate law alongside the word Anzac. To a growing nation, he was the flawless, idealized icon, the pristine face of Australian success on the global stage. But the mechanics of his success were far more complex than the hero worship suggests. Achieving this record required a level of mental shielding that carried an immense weight. This impossible outlier was the product of a singular, ruthless psychological intensity that demanded an equally high human cost. In his childhood home in Bowral, he spent his hours in a solitary, abnormal drill. He struck a golf ball against the curved base of a water tank with a cricket stump, repeating the motion for hours on end. The relentless speed and unpredictable bounce of the ball forced him into a state of total mental compartmentalization. He was training his mind to ignore everything except the immediate point of contact. By 1930, he was applying that mechanical focus to the international stage. He dismantled the English bowling attack with a precision the game had never seen, scoring nearly 1,000 runs in a single tour. Away from the cheers of the crowd, he remained distant. Instead of celebrating record-breaking centuries with his teammates, he often retired to his room alone to answer his massive volume of fan mail. He recognized his talent as a unique commodity. He leveraged his success to secure commercial deals that were unheard of for athletes at the time, ensuring his financial independence was as secure as his batting average. He operated as a self-contained, high-performance entity, a mindset that created a permanent wall between him and the men in his own locker room. During the 1932-1933 series, the English team attempted to break his dominance through a tactic of physical intimidation that became known as Bodyline. As this schematic shows, the bowlers aimed fast, short-pitch deliveries directly at the batsman's head and upper body. The goal was to force a mistake or an injury by making the game a matter of physical survival. While his teammates took bruising hits to the ribs and skull, Bradman relied on his intense mental focus. He adapted his footwork and refused to be intimidated, though the experience left him deeply guarded. The unyielding mental armor he developed exacerbated his exacting, uncompromising personality. He became increasingly pedantic, leading to deepening fractures within the team hierarchy. Many of his teammates grew to resent his dominance. Religious and social differences fueled the divide, leaving the Protestant, teetotaling Bradman isolated among his own colleagues. The same psychological defenses that protected him from hostile bowlers functioned as a permanent barrier, separating him from the team he was supposed to lead. Following the Second World War, a grieving Australia looked to Bradman as an essential symbol of national invincibility. His public image became a matter of national morale. This public reputation faced a quiet crisis in 1945, when his employer and business mentor, Harry Hodgetts, was jailed for massive financial fraud. Although Bradman was second in command and the primary beneficiary of the firm's clients, the legal and financial investigation largely avoided his direct involvement. Within 36 hours of the firm's collapse, a signwriter was at the office painting Bradman's name in gold letters. He was granted the firm's client list and premises for free, bypassing the typical receivership process. The Adelaide establishment facilitated this seamless transition, ensuring that the nation's primary hero remained untouched by the messy reality of the scandal. His playing career reached its peak with the 1948 Invincibles tour. When he was bowled for a duck in his final innings, his average was locked at 99.94, cementing his place as a mathematical legend. While the public celebrated his athletic immortality, his private life was defined by a series of profound and quiet struggles. He endured the loss of an infant son, and later the trauma of his second son John contracting a severe strain of polio. Bradman withdrew from his public duties to personally care for his son, carrying him through a long, grueling recovery. His wife Jessie was the only person capable of reaching him behind his rigid defenses. In her presence, the uncompromising public figure could finally lower his guard. The myth of the invincible hero offered no relief from these personal burdens. If anything, the intense fame only served to deepen his family's sense of isolation. For his children, the weight of the Bradman name eventually became a massive psychological burden, one that defined their lives in ways they could not control. In 1972, John Bradman legally changed his last name by deed poll. It was a final effort to separate his own life from the crushing gravity of his father's public myth. In his later years, he remained a man intensely focused on the details. He spent his days writing thousands of letters to correct the public record, maintaining control over his history until the very end. The statistical perfection that made him a god to millions was built on a singular, isolating obsession, a lifelong commitment that carried a massive human price.